another question within the Rockets' current situation. So, right, head coach for the first time, Steven Silas, been coaching in the NBA, if not 20 years exactly, at least 20 plus years, as an assistant. And now he's got his first head coaching opportunity. And in the NBA, it's a business. They don't really, a lot of times, they could care less about your circumstances. They only care about the W column, right? And most of the time in these situations, the conversation goes to black coaches are not being given the same opportunities as like the white coaches in the NBA, in the sense that, oh man, you look across the way in Brooklyn, Steve Nash ain't never coached a day in his life, and he get the fucking basketball guys gave him a mean package, right? Then you look at somebody like Steven Silas, a black coach, and here he is, rebuilding season, general manager gone. You got all these guys who are coming back from injury, trying to prove themselves. I mean, like, a 20-game losing streak is like tough to like compass. But like, I mean, is that worth the conversation to have? Is like, why are black coaches in the NBA, and maybe not just the NBA, in any professional sport, like, why are they not given the same, being put in these perfectly placed coaching situations?
I think it's just a testament to maybe the mantra that's still put on black coaches, that maybe that they're not elite leaders of men, and maybe they aren't deserving of those premium jobs, though we know that they are. One good case in point would be back in the Gap, where Dwayne Casey, was leading that Raptors team all that year. And, the minute he decides to take more money, I believe with the Pistons job at the time, he, that's the offseason that they end up getting Kawhi. And, the rest is history, right? So it's, I think it's been seen throughout the complexity or the complexion of sports altogether, right? That the black man doesn't really get that premium job to where it's a contender, led franchise maybe. But, hopefully we can make some strides. I don't know what needs to happen, but hopefully, they can start getting some of those more heralded, coaching positions within the, realm of mainstream sports.
Go Black Peace.
I totally disagree. I think it has nothing to do with race, because 9 times out of 10, these players are choosing to leave, or not even the players, but their moves are getting like decided past the coaching. It's a prime example with the Toronto Raptors. The Toronto Raptors couldn't get past the LeBron wall. The owner got tired of it. My colleague Emax Stacks will tell you any kind of day they could not get past LeBron when LeBron was in the East. So how would you feel as an owner? Whatever. Come on now. How would you feel if you really have this perfect team, you can't get past this one wall, something's got to go? And he made that team decided, it's the coach and our main star. As soon as they move both of them, they win a championship. Same thing with the whole Rockets thing. The Rockets, that wasn't nothing to do with necessarily with race. They had plans on him taking that team to where they wanted to be, but James Harden didn't want to stay there. PJ Tucker didn't want to stay there. The players that made the team just wasn't happy. And black coaches get a lot of opportunity. Who was it? Tony Dungy. Well, Tony Dungy got carried, practically to a championship. Got given a championship technically. Yeah, he coached his defense, but at the end of the day, come on now. Peyton definitely did this.
To preface my statement before you attack it, to kind of preface my statement a little bit more, I was more so speaking towards the overall landscape of sports, not necessarily predicated or steered more towards the NBA. But if you look at the landscape of sports, it's not often, I'm not saying it doesn't happen, but it's not often that the black man gets that that premium franchise coaching position. It does happen.
Doc Rivers.
It has happened.
Doc Rivers.
Again, that's a rare example. You can't really name other coaches that have
Caldwell.
Again, you had to name a whole nother sport, and again, you said the Colts, Tony Dungy does not coach the Colts anymore. Again, that is history. So again,
Caldwell.
like I said,
Can I
it just
interject
isn't
in
coming.
here just a little bit?
You're making my point. It just isn't coming. Go ahead, Coach. My fault.
Can I interject in that? So, obviously I do agree with Darnell, but I think something that one we got to ask ourselves. One we got to ask ourselves. Okay, how many of those premium jobs are there? Right. Do you just ask yourself in the NFL or the NBA, how many of those premium jobs are there? Where there's a consistent winner as far as a franchise that's always consistently going. Right. There's like 2 or 3, right? Maybe 5. They're like, okay, hey, these organizations are always put together, right? Now, as far as the NFL is concerned right now, right? Mike Tomlin has been with the NFL franchise, right? The Pittsburgh Steelers over the last
like 10 plus, maybe.
They've had like 3 coaches, right? So he's with the Steelers, right? Brian Flores walked into a crappy situation, but he's with a GM that knows what he's doing, and because of that, he's getting premium players in there to match his system. He's going to be a great coach for a long time, right? So when we say like, okay, it's rare that black coaches get those opportunities, it's rare that any coach gets those opportunities because there aren't that many franchises that are always consistently at the top, that are always like that. And so, but just before you go real quick, hey, do not say that Tony Dungy got carried to a Super Bowl, bruh. Okay,
50-50.
Listen.
Stay on topic.
Tony Dungy carried the Buccaneers to hand it off to John Gruden, and then he built up the Colts to what they are. Yes, he had a great quarterback, but we've seen great quarterbacks get nothing out of their coaches, right? Case in point, Aaron Rodgers, who carried his coach, obviously. So
and to full circle, I think a lot of people may have gotten it re-amped up about the whole black coaches don't get good opportunities because of the whole Golden State situation. People feel like Jackson was robbed. And at the end of the day, Jackson couldn't get the job done. He didn't have the right tools. Compare him to Steve Kerr. Yes, Steve Kerr doesn't have coaching experience, but he sat next to the coach more than anybody else. He had more knowledge from championship coaches. So with that being said, I think a lot of those situations come from situations of that nature where the black coach does have a setup team and is pawned off to the other type of coach. And it seems like, oh, it's because of race. It's like, no, he just couldn't get the job done.
Hold on. Repeat like some of that opening statement that you just said about Mark Jackson.
That Mark Jackson couldn't get the job done. Because you look at that team, there was hardly any tweaks when it came down to that team when he was there and when he left. Yes, they were good. Yes, they were great. They had all the talent in the world, but they needed just a little more direction to where coaching was maybe the issue. It's highly debatable, but it's people tend to blame Mark Jackson. He was robbed.
I think when they got rid of Mark Jackson, I think that team, you maybe as a core, but I don't think that bench was how it was as the championship benches as the championship bench was. I don't know. I could be wrong. I don't know if Iguodala was there, and I was
thinking that.
And with Stephen Clay, like I don't think there was like because Mark Jackson himself called them the greatest shooting backcourt known to man before we all saw it. So I feel like because he had that foresight, he knew what he had. And I don't think they had necessarily like reached that peak of like Curry being a MVP and being the face of the league, and like Clay hadn't like fully turned that corner. So I think had he been given the time, I think we could have seen the same success as we've seen with Stephen Kerr, but highly debatable. Because he had them early. So he's been cultivating that talent and building that structure, and then be like, all right, thank you, Jackson. Here you go, Kerr. Highly debatable.
Maybe but like I said, he's had a decent team, which I feel like Live can credit to. Golden State had a decent enough team to where it's like he's got tired of waiting. It's like, okay, dude, like you guys are good, how long y'all gonna keep getting good and better? Like y'all should have been higher at a certain point. Like y'all should not have been low as y'all have been for so many years. Like y'all just now getting to the point where y'all great. Okay, something's wrong with this. I need
I
somebody
mean,
to fast
and
forward the
one
process.
could argue too, like you have to also pay attention to like the teams that were in the West at that time too. You know what I mean? Because like while they was coming up, like I mean, Kobe was still in the league, or like I mean, you know what I'm saying, like those Lakers teams.
Wasn't a
I
competing
mean,
Laker team at the time.
I would have to go back and look at the years, but I mean, you got OKC. I mean, like a young OKC, James, like you know what I'm saying. So,
Yeah, that was the thing. Like they had teams where it felt like they was kind of they were talented, but they were still beatable, and they felt
yeah.
like Jackson, what are you doing? You can beat this team. Stop playing around. And they felt like need somebody better that knows about winning championships. That's what they did. But people often, to full circle, people often tend to blame it on race, and it's like, bro, he just couldn't get it done the way they need him to. It seems like he was set up, but
Yeah.